Welcome back, everyone. We have next presenter is Alta Global Group Limited, trades on the New York Stock Exchange American under the symbol MMA, and is a technology company that's seeking to increase consumer participation in martial arts and combat sports while building upon existing community offerings within the sector. We will be speaking with its CEO, Nick Langton, but first, we've got a video.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the f he wants. The king is back.
What's up, guys? If you are a fan of mixed martial arts and the UFC, you should begin to study and learn the martial arts. Train Alta is an amazing way for you to, study martial arts, learn the game, and then after 6 months of training, you can fight in an arena, in an event, and it's one of the best things you will ever embark on. Train Alta, the king, with my endorsement.
All right, Nick. Well, that's a pretty good endorsement. The floor is yours.
Fantastic. Thank you, Anna, and thank you to everybody attending today. I'm really delighted to be presenting to you all at the Emerging Growth Conference to talk about this really exciting company we're building within one of the world's fastest growing sports verticals, namely mixed martial arts. The stunning rise of the UFC in the last 25 years, and especially the last decade, has created a vast and passionate global fan base and sparked unprecedented interest in the sport and martial arts more broadly. So at Alta, we're on a mission to help a vast global market of coaches, gyms, and athletes connect with the sports fan base and monetize their skills and IP through both online and in-gym training experiences to really build what we believe can be the next category killer company in this vertical. So just clicking through the slides, and you saw from the video at the very start, which was great, we were able to upload that and demonstrate, if you were going to invest in a sport, in combat, if you're going to invest in a company in combat sports and mixed martial arts more broadly, that surely there is no bigger name to have on the cap table alongside you than global mixed martial arts superstar Conor McGregor. Conor was an early stage investor in Alta. He's coached by my great friend and Alta co-founder John Kavanagh. And in fact, earlier this month, we announced a landmark deal for Conor to increase his ownership stake in the business and take on the role of our primary global ambassador, where he's going to leverage his huge fan base to drive customer growth, revenues, and company awareness amongst retail investors. And the big stars don't stop there. Long-time investors and partners who you might have seen on the title slide, for those of you familiar with the UFC, include 9-time UFC champion Daniel Cormier and UFC broadcaster Laura Sanko, who you'd both be familiar with from their roles presenting at UFC pay-per-views most weekends. So all in all, Alta partners, investors and ambassadors have in aggregate well over 60 million followers on social media, which significantly amplifies our outreach to the sports global fan base. So who is Alta and what do we do? Well, at Alta, we've got a really focused thesis, and that is that we believe one of the most valuable companies in the MMA sports vertical will be the one that converts 640 million fans to participants. Participation will occur on a spectrum from digital content consumption at the light end through to deeply immersive in-gym training experiences. So with our global gym partners, we've delivered a range of product offerings which we then sell to consumers online via our platform that matches them with how they want to train and learn. Then through our recent acquisition of Hype.co, we now have a super app for gyms, coaches, and athletes to publish their content and product offerings to really supercharge the monetization of their time, skills, and IP. So at the core, this is how we make money. By selling subscriptions and charging transaction fees through our technology platform as we connect fans and consumers with athletes, coaches, and gyms. And what is really exciting about this sector, people obviously familiar with the growth and success of the UFC, but the market for participation is absolutely huge. So consider this, in the US alone, there are currently over 45,000 martial arts academies and combat sports gyms servicing 12 million customers who are spending annually in the vicinity of $13 billion on training. And that annual number is growing at strong double digits. Consider also the number of gyms is predicted to swell to over 67,000 by the end of 2025. So this is an already really large market with booming participation growth, which is further buoyed by the huge success of the UFC. So we only need to capture a small part of this market to build a really valuable company. And best of all, fan-based growth and engagement is being powered by the billions of dollars the UFC and the other pro leagues are spending to grow their businesses. So sector growth is fully underwritten, and we benefit enormously from those tailwinds. So to jump into it, what we know to be successful in aggregating this market and really intermediating these interactions between fans, participants, gyms and coaches, you have to meet their needs and understand how to solve their challenges. So we know fans want great content and opportunities to interact with their favorite athletes. We know participants want to learn how to get started in a training journey, and most importantly, find a safe and trusted gym community with great coaches. Coaches obviously want to monetize their skills and make more money, promote themselves in gyms. Well, they want more members. They want to streamline their back office, and obviously they want access to member growth and new revenue channels that makes it easier for them to grow their business. So while the sector is really large, it is also really fragmented and essentially all owner-operators. So consumers don't see an easy on-ramp to participate, and that's what we're doing. Alta is building the on-ramp for 640 million fans of MMA to train and learn martial arts and combat sports. And we've got a really straightforward business where we leverage our three primary platforms. So trainalta.com, that's our B2C subscription that connects fans and consumers with deeply immersive in-gym and online training experiences. Hype.co is our B2B tech where athletes, coaches, and gyms create profiles and publish content to promote and then monetize their skills and offerings. And mixedmartialarts.com, well, that's our media platform and fan community, which, having been founded in 1997, it remains the longest running website in combat sports and is a media property we acquired over 12 months ago in an all-stock deal. So this really acts as our top of funnel as we target our followers, users, and the huge global fan base of MMA with our suite of products and services. Importantly, we control all payments and customer data. So Alta owns the customer, which is really central to our enterprise value as we intermediate these transactions. So having been building successfully for 7 years now, we've amassed over 500,000 user profiles across our platform, which includes customers, gyms, coaches, and of course, our network of famous talent partners. So this all represents a really significant first mover advantage in aggregating this sector and the underlying stakeholders. So if we put it all together, a really helpful proxy for what we're building is to consider how technology transformed another sector that everybody's very familiar with that was also highly fragmented and overwhelmingly comprised of owner-operators. And if you reflect on what platforms like OpenTable, Toast, Yelp, and others did to unlock new sources of customers, the way they homogenized the way offerings were presented to the consumer, they created a streamlined booking and payments experience, and also aggregated community feedback and ratings for the benefits of consumers and business owners alike. Well, again, that's what Alta's building for this vast and fragmented sector, where our goal is to become the most powerful customer acquisition and payments tool, delivering attractive new customer channels and revenues to gyms and coaches worldwide. And so if we dive into the three platforms in a little bit more detail, trainalta.com, as I mentioned, that is our consumer subscription platform. Members will pay between $6 to up to $550 a month for a training membership. The average member fee is paying about $350 a month, and that is for a full suite of in-gym training services with one of our partner gyms. As I mentioned, we collect 100% of the revenues. We retain a share of between 10 and 45%, depending on the product. Our average take at the moment works out at about 38 to 39% of the gross. And the average gross revenue per participant, per person we bring into an Alta subscription, and this is based on prior 4 years of actuals, is over $1,000 per customer, with customer acquisition costs currently running at about $30 to $35 per customer. Hype.co, as I mentioned, this is our B2B platform. You can see on the left-hand side of the slide the tremendous utility that Hype delivers in a single subscription, from website building, CRM and email marketing, text blasts, direct messaging, payment subscriptions, and also some detailed analytics. We offer subscriptions on Hype. There's an initial a freemium opportunity, but typically speaking, people are paying between $39 and $99 subscriptions, all the way up to $299 per month if the gym requires significant scale. We also have up to a 5% transaction fee that's charged for transactions originated in the platform. So Hype is a more typical high margin SaaS style product. We're really early in the rollout, but there's over 80,000 Hype pages have been created. And with subscriptions and transactions, gross revenues from this part of the business is currently running at about $18,000 per month. And then finally, mixedmartialarts.com, as I mentioned, this is a real pioneer media platform and fan community for mixed martial arts and combat sports more broadly. Over 260,000 forum accounts, 350,000 monthly sessions, and over 5 million followers on social media, mostly which are on Meta. So additional investment in mixedmartialarts.com, will increase organic traffic and lead generation for all of our offerings, and also the opportunity to build out ad revenue and other elements to the platform going forward. So this is the really important third leg of the stool, if you like. So putting it all together in terms of the customer journey, this is how it progresses from awareness and initial engagement through to onboarding and monetization. So on the left-hand side of the slide, you can see we're leveraging the reach of our celebrity shareholders and partners to amplify our go-to-market messaging. Further to this, our media platform, our user profiles and followers on our social channels are all a target-rich audience for product offers and subscription sales. We utilize our own proprietary database of gyms and coaches, which continues to build further every day. So then the next stage is the auto creation of Hype pages and user profiles, which really represents the land grab of the sector of all available gym and coaching inventory. So from here, gyms and coaches, athletes, they then claim their profiles, they build on those profiles where they publish, promote, and transact their offerings. And this then, of course, generates subscription and transaction revenue for Alta. They then create the content that they create further drives consumer interest and ultimately conversion to training and participation through a subscription at trainalta.com. So in really simple terms, more gyms and coaches means there is more content being produced, more product offers being sold, more subscription sales, and that ultimately means there is more training programs and memberships then being able to be sold through trainalta.com. So that's how the whole ecosystem fits together. In terms of our team, a really seasoned team of executives with deep sector knowledge in martial arts and combat sports, and also a lot of experience leading listed companies. A key role to point out is our head of the US, Rich Chow, who's a multi-decade veteran of mixed martial arts in the United States, having previously been VP of Talent and Chief Matchmaker at Viacom-owned Bellator. And so in Rich, in the United States, we really have somebody who, apart from UFC President Dana White, Rich would probably have the second best Rolodex in the sport globally, and has been absolutely key to building our business in the United States. We have built a big first mover advantage. I mentioned that before. We've done this by establishing a global operating footprint across the most important markets simultaneously with building really visible digital platforms. So some key stats to highlight: over 5 million followers on social media, 530,000 users have created profiles with our platforms, and we're ranked top 3 in global search for mixed martial arts, which is due significantly to owning mixedmartialarts.com. So all of this represents a really potent base and highly defensible moat from which we're launching the next phase of our growth. We've achieved a lot in the last 12 months. Most notable were our successful acquisitions, new product launches, growth in our gym territory footprint, and continued recruitment of the highest profile talent and brand ambassadors. And this is especially important, especially important is the expansion of our partnership with UFC Gym Group, and who remain the most important brand in combat sports training. And we touched on Connor right at the start, and nobody sells ideas to their follower base better than Connor, and certainly more passionately. Connor, we've recently reached terms for a 3-year deal where Connor will increase his ownership stake in Alta. He'll be our primary global ambassador. The deal is fantastic in that it's aligned, that the compensation is completely structured around performance shares that will vest as the share price rises through $7.50, $10, $15, and $20. So Connor is completely aligned to the promotion success and growth of Alta. Also, we announced just the other week is a landmark deal we reached with UFC Gym Group to roll out our products and our platforms to all 150 of their global locations. This, at first pass, this gives us an immediate revenue opportunity of about $7 million annually, and the ability to grow alongside their gym footprint, because we know how quickly they continue to open gyms in North America and around the world. So we'll be providing them with our programs and also our platform technology like Hype.co to improve the marketing efficiency of their underlying gyms and businesses. As I say, this is a global partnership and increases our reach, really significantly in terms of our overall footprint. And you can see that when we look at where we've got to in our current gym footprint, the number of signed partners we have. The UFC has just added another 150 to that. So now we've reached a commercial agreement with over 700 gyms globally. So importantly, we've acquired all the inventory we need to rapidly scale in the next 12 months. And we will continue to accelerate our land grab with the goal of ultimately having every quality martial arts academy in the world published and active through Alta. The next year of growth will be really focused, growing gym numbers, expanding our territories, unlocking the embedded revenue opportunity within the business, and really ramping our growth alongside UFC Gym. Prior to our successful listing 5.5 months ago, we'd invested very heavily in a land grab of the sector to secure the gym's talent and build out our tech. We've run programs with all our premium gyms to prove out monetization and product fit. And importantly, we've invested and built the tech infrastructure to maximize revenue opportunities across the market. So with a debt-free balance sheet and a cap table comprising 60% ownership to founders, executives, and our core early stage long-term investors and insiders, Alta's really poised to activate this vast global fan base of MMA to become shareholders in the company that trades under the stock ticker that is the name of the sport. And so lastly, in summary, I know Alta will be the next category killer in this space with first mover advantage, great tech, an experienced team, and the deep moat we've built off the back of our well-earned trust and reputation. We're extremely well positioned. Add to that all the big name partners and a massive addressable market, and you have a formula for a really exciting growth story, which I've really enjoyed presenting to you today. And I'm now really happy to hand back to Anna and go to any questions.
All right, Nick, great job. We do have lots of questions for you. Let's jump right in. So does your platform provide any type of fast track into the UFC? Yoram wants to know.
I wouldn't. So yeah, it's not about fast tracking, future pro athletes to, I mean, it's a great way to start. If people ultimately have that ambition, there is no quicker way to start than to join an Alta program and train for 20 weeks and have your first amateur contest. But I would say, broadly speaking, think about our typical consumer. It's a mass affluent fitness consumer. It's a hobbyist who wants to train in martial arts and combat sports. It's somebody who's sick of their existing gym or workout and wants to pick up a sport they love and wants an easy entry point into that. So whilst that could be the case, that's not really what we're seeking to achieve. Although I should say, I think we've had close to 20 people globally of, say, 10,000 people who've done the programs who've actually gone on to have pro careers.
Great. And Eric wants you to talk a little bit about your margins for customer acquisition. What are they?
Yeah, so as I say, we collect 100% of the revenues. We retain for our programs, we retain 40% of the gross. So effectively, if you're looking at, let's say a typical program, somebody's paying $2,500 over 20 weeks. We'll retain about $1,000 of that to us. $1,500 will go to the gym. The $1,500 that goes to the gym is actually as well a number that is typically higher than they would earn over that same period of time had they sourced that member directly and sold them into an annual membership. So even despite the split, these are still premium revenues for the gym. And we're typically at the moment averaging $30 to $35 for our customer acquisition costs. So, and that will then depend, as I say, the average monthly spend for a consumer training in our programs is about $350.
And Gunnar wants to know, how many different verticals do the users have? He wants you to explain, are the users also making money on your platform?
Yeah, so the people making money on the platform are the athletes, gym owners, and coaches, and obviously Alta, as we provide both online content as well as in gym. So the users or the consumers are obviously paying for those training opportunities, paying to be part of the gym community. It's a great question though, because it's not completed yet, but we are working on what is effectively going to be a loyalty scheme to drive a rewards mechanism to reward long-term members for a whole range of sort of opportunities within the business. But that's not live yet. That's on our roadmap to deliver over the next 12 months.
And Hugo asks, is the ultimate goal to get all of the local UFC type gyms associated with your platform? And if so, how are you approaching that? How are you getting the word out?
Yeah, so getting the word out has been the easy part. So yeah, ultimately we want to become the hub when anybody thinks of training in martial arts and combat sports, and again, people are really surprised to see how large the sector is, how vast it is, over 45,000 martial arts gyms in the United States at the moment. The way we get the name out first and foremost has been that we've operated with some of the best known coaches and gyms globally over the last sort of 7 years. And so it's a sector where the network effect of operating with the biggest and best names means that, we obviously get a lot of gyms coming to us saying that they want to take our customers and run our programs. And so it's really leveraging, those famous names and those really respected identities in the space that's led to our growth. And of course, doing an enterprise deal with UFC Gym, well, that gives us access to their footprint of 150 locations. And in fact, the owners of UFC Gym, Adam Sedlak, the CEO, and Mark Mastrov, who founded 24 Hour Fitness, we actually announced yesterday that they're joining our advisory board to really fast track our rollout of products with UFC Gym.
And Shay asks, does it make sense to get on the Peditons and Tonals and other home gym subscription platforms? Are you doing anything like that?
We're not doing anything like that at the moment. I mean, we honestly believe that we really do want to match consumers with opportunities to train in their local gyms. We know martial arts and combat sports is wonderful community-based fitness, and the best experience you are going to have is at one of your local gyms. We do have a virtual academy with thousands of online lessons where people can learn from the best coaches in the sport. But ultimately, we want to coax people towards geolocate them and present them with offers at gyms in their local area so they can go and get on the mats and train with people in their community.
Absolutely. And Kayla asks, what other competition do you have in this space?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, nobody's doing exactly what we're doing. A few years ago, I would have said, well, our obvious competition is UFC Gym, although they're more traditional bricks and mortar, and we're obviously the tech that sits on top, but they're now our most important enterprise customers. So I kind of no longer categorize them in that sort of competition space. I think you could think in more broad terms when you think about large players in gym software and gym payments that are going after the entire fitness category more broadly. But martial arts and combat sports is a lot more nuanced. What the gyms require, from software and payments, customer origination requires a more focused approach. So we're definitely the only ones who are really doing that across, sort of all dimensions of services we provide to gyms and coaches.
And Eric wants to know, do you have also a brick and mortar aspect to this business?
No, we don't. No, we leverage the infrastructure that's already there. Obviously, the partnership with UFC Gym, they are a big brick and mortar player, as I say, over 150 locations. But again, this sector is overwhelmingly owner operated. You think of every suburb, in every town, there's a jiu-jitsu academy, a karate school, a boxing gym, what have you. That's kind of the bread and butter of ultimately the sector that we're looking to aggregate through our platforms and really assist with customer origination, and of course assist customers find a really easy way into training, because what we know from the search data, there's huge curiosity in learning how to get started in martial arts and combat sports, but that search traffic doesn't have a central place to go, and that's really the hub we're building.
And Bo asks, can your model be duplicated in other sports like boxing?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly can. Our focus is going after all elements of martial arts and combat sports. So, we've got a number of boxing gyms on our platform, and we want to deliver more programs specifically tailored to boxing. We're working on a deal at the moment with a very high-profile US boxer to roll out to boxing. And I think when we do this, that ultimately you could transpose a lot of what we're building and then transpose that across to other sectors and verticals. But I should just make it clear, this one is so large and the opportunity is so significant that we're very, very focused on combat sports and martial arts, certainly over the course of the next couple of years.
And Jake wants to know, how are you collaborating, or if you are going to, with other MMA organizations? You touched on this earlier, but do you see a future with Cage Warriors, Invicta, Pride, etc.? Are there any opportunities there?
Yeah, one of my long-term shareholders, a guy called Mike Kogan, runs the Bellator, which has now been bought from Viacom by the PFL. So we have relationships, through my business partner, John Kavanagh, Connor's coach. John has athletes, not just in the UFC, but across all the major global promotions. So we've got incredibly strong ties to all the leading identities in the sport. We've been operating in this space for a long time, and we look to leverage any opportunity we can to attract more people, more fans to come into the gym and learn the sport. So yeah, we'll continue to leverage all of them, but there is no doubt the relationship with the UFC is the most important.
And last question from Jeff, wanting to know, what's the annual run rate of customers and revenue with the 700 gyms?
Yeah, so we've got 700 gyms signed commercially. We've penetrated the first, call it 12% of those gyms in terms of running programs and receiving customers from us. We're soon to report our updated annual numbers, so I don't want to jump the gun on our filings there. But we're from a historic basis, As I say, we've generated, over $10 million of gross revenues for gyms around the world, so that the product market fit and the unit economics are really deeply proven across all our operating territories: North America, Asia, Middle East, Western Europe, so on and so forth. So, this coming year, particularly with the UFC gym partnership, is going to be massive for us.
Wonderful. Well, Nick, thank you so much. This is a fascinating industry you're in right now, and we appreciate you being on the conference, and we'd love to have you back.
Fantastic. Lovely to be here today. Thank you, Anna.
All right. See you soon.
Bye.
Okay, everyone, stay with us. We'll be right back.